Round number 5 of Season 7 brings us 92 feet below sea level to the largest city on the Caspian Sea and the capital of Azerbaijan. Welcome along then to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. 4 different winners from our first 4 races, and after Vapor Knut's excellent performance last time out in Canada, will he be the standout leader tonight and nudge himself closer into contention for his 3rd consecutive FPSL title in Division 1? That remains to be seen over the next 18 minutes of qualifying and 26 laps of racing in the Caucasus region. Matt Vernon alongside me tonight. Matt, as we arrive to the land of fire, the title race continues to heat up, and it swung last week in Knut's favour.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can ask for a better drive from a driver, really. Fastest lap by 6/10, pole dominated the race. You know, it's pretty much a perfect race you could ask for as a driver.
He's got experience, of course, in the last 2 seasons of winning the World Championship, and after taking control with such a dominant performance as well last time out, it's almost difficult to see how anyone's going to stop him from here.
You know, I mean, after that race, maybe not, but over the course of a season, anything can happen. All it takes is a couple DNFs here or there, and suddenly you're chasing the leader again.
Azerbaijan then 4 races here in the past. It started in 2016 as the European Grand Prix before it got its own name in 2017. And of course 17, that cracking race, Daniel Ricciardo 10th on the grid, winning the Grand Prix for Red Bull. It is the only victory from outside the front row here in Baku since its inception in 2016. That first race certainly didn't provide us with the entertainment we believed it would. But hopefully this league race here on this Tuesday evening will do. Right, some news to tell you about. Red Sniper Eye has joined Mercedes. Kex Vendel has been banned from the league after an incident with Luke Prentice in Canada last week. So Red Sniper Eye, who scored Renault's only points of the season in the Dutch Grand Prix, takes that Mercedes seat. And, well, Renault probably could do with him in the car because none of their other drivers have managed to get any points this season, Matt.
No, I mean, it's certainly not the start to the season they would have hoped for. We've, of course, seen a few of their bad races, so maybe Baku, they might turn it around. Of course, you know, over the last few years we've seen in real life it can throw a few spanners in the works.
Yeah, Bando Beers and TRT James both retiring from the race in Canada, and yeah, especially on a street circuit, if I can speak, you just never really know how the form book is going to turn at a track like this. McLaren, of course, in 2015 scored their first points in Monaco with Jenson Button that year, and nobody ever really thought that they were going to score points with that Honda engine, or the GP2 engine, as Fernando Alonso called it. On the outlap then, Matt, let's just talk about this circuit for a second, because it's a strange one. It's a street circuit, but it's so quick. It's got long straights, but that impending danger of the barriers is ever present nonetheless.
Absolutely, and there's certainly a few curbs to watch out for on this track as well. Of course, turn 2, quite a race curb. Turn 3 as well. The main one really is turn 12. You find that because the wall's so close on the right, if you catch that curb on the way through, you can very easily hit the wall and that's your race ruined, you know. Of course, the castle section, very infamous now on the F1 calendar. I certainly won't recommend going side by side into that, because that will just lead to DNFs.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that. I think we've seen it in F2 a couple of times, and it certainly did not end well for anybody who tried it. As Vapor Knut then, there is our World Championship leader in the Williams car, partnering Lord Alam this season, and it's been a fantastic start for him. He's out-qualified Lord Alam all 4 times. He's been out-raced by Alam just the once so far this season, and the 3 points finishes, the 3 pole positions, and the 1 victory so far certainly proves that he is definitely not a driver to be taken lightly in any way, shape or form. He's on the medium tyres as well. Knut tends to do this quite a lot. Goes out on the medium tyres on his first run before switching to the softs later on. And he's certainly not someone, Matt, that you would bet against taking his 4th pole position of the season here.
Absolutely not. I mean, it's probably a track that favours him as well. It's probably a bit easier on the wheel this track, so I'd certainly fancy him for pole position here. But of course, you never know. The barrier's that close, 1 slip, and you know you're starting from the back of the grid. How demobilising do you think it is, though, for Lord Alam to turn up to every race and know that he's going to have to drive perfectly to have a chance of beating his teammate?
Yeah, well, last season Lord Alam went up against Vapor Trench, who nearly won the championship, lost out by a point to Vapor Knut, and he actually managed to out-qualify Trench once, but was out-raced by him all 10 times. Remember Singapore, when Vapor Knut had front wing damage, and he still managed to come back and finish ahead of Lord Alam. So I think you're right. I think that certainly would have been a little bit of of a demoralising result for him. And well, Alam this season though has made a reasonable start to the championship campaign. He himself has managed to get 3 points finishes on the board so far. And last season was a bit of a struggle for him in his first season in Division 1.
Canute hit the wall there. He's lost the end plate off his front wing.
So Canute into turn 16. That's going to cost him a fair bit of time as he goes through this flat out section at the end of the lap. Does front wing damage prevent you from going flat out here, would you say?
I think yellow probably not, but once you get beyond that, or if you get yellow either side, then both sides even, that will stop you from going flat out through that section, because of course it should be flat with normal front wing. And
he is now in the
bails
pits.
out of the lap. He doesn't even carry it on. So
Benja then is fastest, 139.0 for the Alfa Romeo driver. Kobalt's just slotted into P2, 139.1. Here comes Vapor Matt in the Ferrari across the line for him to go P2, 1 minute 39.0 from him, just behind Benjamin. Himself and Benjamin both promoted from Division 2 last season. Matt with 5 podiums and 2 wins. Benjamin with exactly the same. Matt though took a pole. Benjamin unable to do so, but I don't think they'll really care too much about that. They both got promoted as here comes Vapor King and the Alpha Tauri.
Also went purple and Sector 2 Vapor King here, so this could be a lap time to look out for. I think we might see mid to low 138s for pole today.
Up towards the line then for Vapor King. And P11 now, having not set a lap, goes P5 with a 139.6. So slotting well into that top 10 for the minute, but of course only 8 drivers who have set a lap so far. Jack Prentice is down there in last of the current runners with a 140.6, so his lap has gone wrong somewhere. Bando Biz P1 139.0, so that pace that he brought into Division 1 from Division 2 showing through here. Let's just hope this time he can make it 8 to the end of qualifying as Carwin Robb takes him off top spot. And you are right, 138.2, low 138s. I just wonder then, Matt, if we might even dip into the 137s come the end of qualifying.
I mean, possibly. You certainly see those laps on time trial. A lot of the world records, I think, are actually low 137, so we could even get a bit lower than that today.
Absolutely. So this is going to be a close qualifying session, you would think. Vapor Trench currently on a lap as well in the Mercedes as he brings that car in towards the castle section.
Despite the length of the track, there isn't actually too many corners around here, so you might find a lot of the lap times end up being in a similar sort of band, because there isn't too many corners where the drivers can differentiate themselves. It's a lot of just on the throttle, this track.
Yeah, a lot of 90-degree corners, but I guess what can separate it, I suppose, I don't know if you'd agree, is just that extra bit of risk that you want to take, especially into the likes of turn 15 with the barriers looming so close.
Absolutely, and I mean, it's also how good you are on the brakes as well. Of course, with those 90-degree corners, the braver you are, if you can really nail that risk-reward, you know, you can certainly find yourself up near the front. As Vapor Trench has also gone purple through the first 2 sectors on this lap as well.
Yeah, Vapor Trench 138.2 to beat from the Red Bull of Carwin Robb. Can Trench beat that as he comes up towards the line now? DRS rear wing open, and it is P2 138.
I'm a bit interested in how Carwin Robb got that lap time now, because Trench went purple in Sector 1 and 2, and yet he still ended up 6 tenths behind.
Yeah,
so
not that much time you could lose in Sector 3 as Vapor Shea slots into P2, 138.7 from him. Still waiting then for Vapor Canute to set a lap time. TRT James is out there, as is this man Harrison in the Red Bull. As Bando Biz retired
in the pits,
I think it is in the pits, because that yellow flag is down the home straight, isn't it? So unless he's binned it somewhere, I'm not too sure. But Bando Biz, who had momentarily taken P1, now P4, is now out of the session. Renault just, it's not coming together, is it, this season, as Harrison rides the curve. I have no idea how he's managed to keep hold of that lap, but into turn 16 he comes, clips the apex. That's a good run from Harrison. Potentially a bit of a loss at the back end on the exit, but now in towards this flat out final section of the circuit where it's just about positioning the car, taking the shortest run up towards the line. And gets a nice slipstream as well off of his teammate Carwin Robb. That's handy. And now up towards the line for Harrison. What's this going to be from him? It is P3 with a 138.7. That's a good lap from the Red Bull driver. Slots ahead of Vapor Trench in the Mercedes. And still then waiting for the likes of Canute, James, Bazooka Joe and TDB to set lap times. And we were just mentioning TDB before we got on air. It's been a bit of a conundrum with him this season because he's had 2 podiums and 2 non-finishes, so it seems to be one extreme or the other for him, as well as of course, as a race victory.
Yeah, of course, as we were speaking about earlier as well, just before the race started, that the importance of turn 16 on this track, because you can lose so much to you. It doesn't feel like it, but if you even attempt to slow out of that corner, it's going to cost you a fair bit by the time you get to the finish line.
Here comes Canute then. Can he set a better lap? So yes, he can. It's P1 for him. It's a 138.0. Haven't quite got into the 137s just yet, but we're certainly getting closer with that brilliant lap time there from the Williams driver and the World Championship leader, looking for his 4th pole of the season. And at the moment, it's looking like nobody can really stop him. He's on such good form right now, is Vapor Canute. Of course, the mishap in the Netherlands, probably just a little blip really, because he's been almost faultless other than that. Cobalt at the moment here is P9, 139.1 from the Haas driver, as we still wait for TRT James, who's in the pits, and Bazooka Joe is on an outlap to set lap times in this qualifying session.
I think we might actually see, despite how close the walls are, a few penalties today, similar to Singapore. There is a few corners where you can quite easily pick up penalties on this track. Of course, turn 7 just for the castle section, that's very easy to cut there. As is turn 15 as well, that's very easy to cut as well. So I think we could see a few penalties today. Hopefully the race isn't decided by them, but it could play a factor. That's
a really good run through turn 15 for Vapor Cobalt. Into turn 16 he goes. Smooth run as well through there, as he brings it through 17 and now into the sweeping left and right of 18 and 19, which brings him in towards the final little kink of turn 20. And then it's just spotting that DRS line and up towards the start-finish line for him to complete a flying lap. Currently P9, 139.1. Where does this put him? It puts him P6.
Ooh, that's a good improvement.
Yeah, so it's a good lap there, which pushes the retired Bando Biz into 7th place. So Biz at the moment is, well, whether it was his decision to retire, I'm not too sure, but if it was, he'll certainly be regretting it right now. Red Sniper Eye goes P10, 139.2 from the Mercedes driver, the new Mercedes driver, who has obtained, as I said, Renault's only points of the season so far, but he'll be racing for Renault no more. So it is on the shoulders of Bando Beers and TRT James as we join Vapor Matt on the way in towards turn 15.
Oh, lost the rear end a little bit out of 15 there.
Lost the back end, and he's had to keep it together going into 16.
Quicker.
Yeah, so this could still be a good lap, but you just wonder how much quicker it could have been had he kept it all together through turn 15. He's in towards this final sector he goes. Currently behind his Division 2 promotion rival Benjamin, who I'm sure he would quite like to be ahead of at the moment. And is he about to do so? Up towards the line then for the Ferrari driver. It's P3. Great lap. 138.6.
As Luke Prentice has crashed in the castle section as well.
Luke Prentice out. So, well, Luke has had 4 DNFs for the first 4 races. Nothing seems to be going his way either. And, yeah, that is him out of the session in that McLaren car. So that's Bando Biz and Luke Prentice both out. Bazooka Joe said a 140.3, so something's gone pretty wrong for him on that lap.
Oh, and he's 3 seconds down on this one as well. So
Elian's gone into P8 meanwhile for Racing Point. We're still waiting for TRT James to set a lap. TDB in the other Racing Point, yeah, he's down in P16 with a 139.4. Now we know TDB's pace. He can certainly do a lot better than that. He can improve on that lap time. There's Jack Prentice.
Prentice is on a flying lap at the minute, so let's see what he can do here.
Yeah, P11 for him. Jack Prentice, I think, will be very disappointed if he can't get himself into that top 10. He's having this brotherly battle with his teammate Luke Prentice this season, and he's out-qualified him all 4 times so far. Outraced him 3 times. The only time he didn't was when he and his brother both failed to finish the Grand Prix in Singapore. And it looks as though Jack Prentice, coming into the castle section, has just backed out of this particular lap, so he won't be making an improvement just yet. So Vapor Canute leading them with just over 5 minutes to go. Carwin Robb in second place for Red Bull. Vapor King in P3 for Alpha Tauri. It's Vapor Matt in P4. Vapor Shay P5. Lots of Vapors in the Formula PlayStation League. Harrison currently 6 in the other Red Bull. Vapor Trench down in P7. He'll want to improve on that. Elian 8th, Cobalt 9th, and Bando Biz, who has retired from the session, is rounding out the top 10.
Let's see what his teammate can do here. TRT James probably not had the season he wanted so far, so let's see if he can get himself up near the front of the grid.
After this torrid start, James is in serious relegation trouble. in the Formula PlayStation League ahead of round 8, so he needs to be pretty flawless between now and the end of the season. Here he comes up towards the line with DRS open. What's this going to be for TRT James? It is P9, so slots in front of Vapor Cobalt, in front of his teammate as well. And James then here looking to out-qualify a teammate for the first time this season.
Oh well, Vapor Canoop is 4 tenths up on his personal best through Sector 1, so this could be a lap to watch out for.
Well, it was already looking like a really good lap to put him on provisional pole position, but every time you think Vapor Canoop has exercised every single bit of talent, he just seems to put out a little bit more. As into Castle he comes, slight lock-up, but he manages to keep it all together. You just wonder if he's just lost a little too much time through those last 3 corners there, Vapor Canoop.
Yeah, well, let's see. I mean, he's obviously going to go through the Sector 2 timing line in a second, so we'll see. I mean, he was very committed through there, very close to the barriers, so that's a very interesting line, that one. It seems that the game doesn't recognise that.
A couple of times the drivers have popped over that.
7 tenths up so far.
Goodness. Even with those couple of losses at the back end, he's still managing to be so much quicker. Where is Canoe getting all this pace from? Where's he getting this talent from? Looking here for his 4th pole of the season. I don't really know who can stop him. Here he comes up towards the line in the Williams car. Vapor Canoe.
Let's see what he sets. It's a 137.3.
Oh my goodness me. We might, well, surely we're not going to reach the 136s in this session. That would be crazy if we did.
Let's jump on board with Car and Rob. Let's see what he can do to answer that back. He's probably just seen that pop up on the bottom of his screen and just put his head in his hands, to be honest. I know I would have.
That would be demoralising for him.
He is still 3 tenths up though, so not a bad Sector 1 for him right now.
Yeah, still looking for a place on the front row.
To be honest, I didn't think we get to the low 137s today. I thought maybe like high 137s, so...
Yeah, as I say, potentially even the 136s if Vapor Canoe can pull another 7 tenths out of the bag on his next lap, which isn't unforeseeable, but I really don't see who's going to stop that one between now and the end, has to be said. Carwin Robb, the closest one to him, as he brings that Red Bull in towards turn 15. Rides that curve, there it is again.
Taking that line, it's... Interestingly, if you do that line on time trial, it invalidates your lap, so I suppose the game lets that one go, to be honest.
There you go. 1 win from second here in Azerbaijan, 3 wins from pole. So Vapor Canoe, the odds-on favourite as it stands at the moment. Here comes Carwin Robb, though, looking to take that pole position off him. I don't think this lap is quite going to be good enough, though, as he crosses the DRS line and brings the car up towards the start-finish line. It is a 137.7, so it is an improvement by nearly 5 tenths of a second, but still not enough to topple Vapor Canoe's pace-setting lap time. Vapor Matt in P4 at the minute, in front of his teammate Vapor Shea. Just under 2 minutes to go, so lots of drivers now on their out laps. TRT James still in the pit, so I just wonder if he'll be coming out again. I don't think he will. He hasn't got time, has he? So no. TRT James will be 9th at best, but he will out-qualify a teammate for the first time this season.
He's just come out for an out lap. I don't think he's going to get round in time, though.
No, surely not. Surely he's not going to have enough time to do that, because the quickest that time is 137, and that's with a massive push from Vapor Canoe and Carwin Robb.
Oh, Canoe's retired.
Yeah, Canoe's retired from the session, so clearly he feels as though that 137.342 is quite enough to get in pole position here in Azerbaijan, as Vapor Matt brings that car through the castle section. It's a smooth exit as well, as he brings that car in towards...
Oh, Vapor Cobalt's retired.
13,
I think that's...
14, 15, Cobalt, MP10. Where's he lost it?
I think it's in the castle section.
Oh, Vapor Matt's hit the wall because he had the racing... Was it the racing point?
Oh, dear. I don't think he's very happy about that.
And he's going to block him as well. Oh, Vapor Matt's going to be fuming at that. And to be honest...
I mean, I think he might get in trouble for that with the stewards, isn't it? 'Cause he's blocking the guy going onto his flying lap, possibly.
Well, he's got reason to be annoyed, though, hasn't he? There, Vapor Matt, the racing point getting right in his way. That's, not a nice moment. As... Carson then says Biz for the win. He said that a bit earlier on.
Oh, Trench is retired as well.
Yeah, Trench is out. Trench then is... Where is Trench?
Currently P7, Vapor Trench.
Yeah, P7.
He might drop a couple more positions. There's a lot of drivers behind him out on flying laps at the minute as well, so he could drop down to obviously about 10th.
Yeah, this is not a good session at all for Vapor Trench. Vapor Canoe's nearest title challenger. Here comes Vapor Shea. Can he out-qualify his teammate Vapor Matt as he comes up towards the line? Yeah, P3. Yes. Brilliant lap from Vapor Shea in the Ferrari. Excellent going from him. Out-qualifies Matt for the 4th time this season. Here then is Harrison in the Red Bull. Oh, there's a car off over there. Is that Trench? That might be Trench over there.
Oh, someone's lost their front wing through the castle section at some point as well. There's a bit of an end plate there.
Yeah, so, well, the castle section, you said it, was going to catch somebody out. And it certainly has done. Right, Carwyn Robb is still out there as well. Harrison here in P6, looking to get in towards the top 5. Oh, as he loses the back end, clips the barrier. How much time is that going to cost him? He's going to try and finish the lap here. Hasn't lost any parts of his car, but he runs slightly wide through turn 16, which is the corner you said was going to make or break somebody's lap time in this session. Harrison then round the final corner, up towards the line for him. Currently Vapor Canute on pole. Harrison looking to get ahead of Vapor Matt, get into the top 5. Can he even get into the top 3? What can Harrison do here in the Red Bull? Across the line for him, it is...
Oh no,
no, not an improvement. So still P6 for the Red Bull driver. Carwyn Robb's retired from the session, which means that Jack Prentice, I believe, is one of only 3 drivers left to complete a lap. It's him.
Currently 5 temps up as well through sector 2, so this could be a lap time to watch out for. This could catapult him right up to the front of the grid.
Red Sniper Eye hasn't improved. P15. TDB goes P3 for Racing Point. Here comes Jack Prentice for P5. Huge improvement, as you said, for the McLaren driver. What a brilliant end to qualifying for both TDB and for Jack Prentice. TDB takes 3rd. Jack Prentice shoots himself up into 5th place, but it's Vapor Canute for the 4th time this season. Dominant pole position. That was an outstanding lap of 1:37.3.
I don't want to sound hyperbolic, but that kind of reminds me of Hamilton around Singapore a couple years ago, where it was described as a miracle lap. That may very well be the same sort of thing, because no one got even close to that lap time, to be honest.
Well, it was a legendary lap that day from Hamilton, and it's a brilliant lap tonight from Vapor Canute. He takes pole from Carwyn Robb, TDB in P3, Vapor Shea in 4th, Jack Prentice in 5th, Vapor King takes 6th, Vapor Matt in 7th, Harrison 8th, Benjamin in 9th, Vapor Trench will start the race in P10. 11th is Ellie and TRT James in P12. Cobalt, Biz, Lorna Lamb, Red Sniper Eye, Luke Prentice and Bazooka Joe rounding off the grid. Not a good qualifying for Bazooka Joe. He's always a quiet one in the league, but never seems to qualify that poorly, so he'll be looking for a response in the Grand Prix. Of course, the advantage finisher starting the race, I should say, outside the top 10 is you get a free choice of tyres, provided the race is dry, which it is.
I would just like to say, just to call myself out here, just as they went on to their final flying lap set, I did call Vapor Trench in 10th, so when he was in P7 at the time, so I'd just like to pat myself on the back for that one.
There you go.
Wish I could do as well on my football bets, but you know.
Well, I mean, I remember you did predict the 2018 Champions League final pretty accurately, much to much at my expense, has to be said. But yeah, so Vapor Trench will start the race in 10th position. I think he would have probably preferred to just be knocked outside the top 10 if that was going to happen. But he has got some work to do at a track where, as Daniel Ricciardo proved in 2019, it's quite difficult to overtake.
Absolutely. I mean, it's I believe it's a one-stop round here. I think you could probably go soft mediums to the end, possibly soft hards. Maybe some guys will start on the mediums. We don't quite know yet, but it's not particularly high tyre wear track, Azerbaijan, so I don't think the drivers have too much worries about tyres unless they try and go for a really long stint somewhere in the race.
Well, Azerbaijan and the city of Baku has certainly gained a lot more fame in the last few years. The Maiden Tower and the Shirvanshah's Palace, which I've probably just butchered the pronunciation of. They were inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in the year 2000. And Baku, apparently, is in the world's top 10 destinations for urban nightlife. So that's us on a night out in Baku next year then, I suppose, after COVID's all over, as we get underway on the formation lap. So Matt, what is the key to this Grand Prix? Is it just keeping it out the barriers? Is it strategy? What is it?
I'd say absolutely consistency around this track. It's you know, some drivers are going to be more brave than others, but when those tyres start to fade towards, you know, the end of a stint, that's when you're going to end up in the barrier, you lose your front wing. So really, it's all who's going to be the cleanest driver today and who can stay out of the collisions and stuff. Of course, someone gets turned around on the castle section. That can cause quite a log jam as well. Watch out for that on lap 1. Drivers may be getting a bit racy side by side up into it. So
yeah, and well, none of these drivers I know for sure, and if you're a regular viewer, you'll know as well that none of them like backing out of moves. But you just wonder if that castle section there might just deter them from going wheel to wheel on, particularly on the opening lap of this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Vapor Canute building quite a gap on the formation lap from Carwyn Robb.
Maybe he's just trying to get the psychological advantage, who knows?
Can't even catch me on the formation lap.
But of course the main overtaking zones at Baku, probably turns 1 and turn 3, of course the 2 DRS straights just before them as well, 90-degree corner, so nice braking zones into there too.
Ferrari Power has yet to win a Grand Prix in Baku. Ferrari might have won it in 2018 if not for a late safety car. Valtteri Bottas might have won it if not for a late puncture. But Renault Power have won one. That was with Daniel Ricciardo in that crazy race in 2017, and of course Mercedes with the rest of the victories, with Nico Rosberg in 2016 and Lewis Hamilton in 2018 and 2019.
Of course, we could have had Ferrari Power as well the year, but Vettel kind of lost his head towards the end of the race as well, where he claimed Hamilton brake checked him. So
yeah, and still managed, despite that bit of road race, to finish the race in front of Lewis Hamilton, which was a surprise result and a very controversial Grand Prix indeed. But those two have since made up. Sebastian Vettel's since moved on, so is his hair.
What's happened there? They've been
disqualified from the formation. So Luke Prentice and Bazooka Joe have come together on the formation lap. That's okay. They will still start the Grand Prix. They just won't finish the formation lap. So
I thought for a second there they'd both been disqualified from the race. It only would have been an interesting one.
Well, it's the last thing Luke Prentice needs, having failed to finish all 4 of the first races of the season. Bazooka Joe himself has 1 points finish from the first 4, so he certainly needs a turn of fortune. So given that there's 2 drivers down there who really do need a string of good results, P17 and P18 isn't exactly where they would have wanted to start the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, particularly with it being such a tight street circuit as well. As we get ready to go then here in Azerbaijan, 4 races, 4 winners. Are we about to see a repeat, or are we about to see a 5th? The Azerbaijan Grand Prix is underway, and how's the start from Vapor Canute as he gets off the line for Williams, and down the inside goes Carwin Robb, round the outside goes TDB and Vapor King getting very close in the background. Down towards turn 2 they go. Carwin Robb down the inside. TDB, that gets very close indeed. The Ferrari of Vapor Shea is going to be right in there now, looking to take advantage of that one. He's got past TDB. Can he get past Carwin Robb? Vapor Matt's tussling in the background with Jack Prentice as well, who's going side by side with Vapor Trench. This is a really, really good start from Vapor Canute, leading off the... that's a massive back end loss for Vapor King in the AlphaTauri. Yeah, there's a crash in the background. I think Vapor Matt's involved in that one. Vapor Matt falling down to the back of the order, I believe, in the Ferrari. Bazooka Joe down there as well in P17. Yeah, it is Vapor Matt because he's fallen 8 seconds behind. And where is he?
And yellow flags in sector 2 as well. I think I might just be Matt trying to get back up to speed though.
No, I think it is. And we have got Lord Alam going off as well. He's falling down the order, as is TRT James. Virtual safety car deployed. So
someone lost it in the castle section. I think there might have been a collision there.
Well, we have got James and Lord Alam, who are both losing positions hand over fist.
Has he got damage, Luke Prentice? It looked like it was one of the McLarens that was stuck there. I can't see any front wing damage though.
I just wonder if Luke Prentice might have got front wing damage on the formation lap. Does it carry over damage from the formation lap?
I don't think you can actually get damage on the formation lap.
I see, okay. Yeah, well, either way, Luke Prentice P12, so he's a couple of positions behind the points. Vapor Matt has made his way back to within 3 seconds now. The Van der Biz, of course, with the virtual safety car. But I just wonder if he's picked up any damage as well from the opening exchanges. Look how close this is then. TDB looking to take advantage of the safety car restart to get in front of Vapor Shea. Has to make sure not to speed under the VRC, and he does now. Dive down the inside of the Ferrari. Can they keep it together? Yes, they can. Vapor Shea is still there. Vapor King right behind them, but TDB manages to take back 3rd place for the Racing Point team, and Vapor King's got a good exit as well out of turn 2, but TDB's got to go defensive. He's got to defend here from Vapor Shea as the Irish driver goes back down the inside, and once again we have a change in 3rd place. Or do we? TDB hangs it around the outside, nearly loses the back end. Look at Vapor King as well, going down the inside of both of them. TDB just about manages to stay in front. Look at Jack Prentice as well on the exit, looking to get ahead of Vapor Shea. All of these 4 drivers now heavily involved in this battle, but Vapor King, as a result of all that, manages to get past Vapor Shea. An opportunistic move, and it's up to 5th place now for the AlphaTauri driver.
Just while we take a quick break from this, as hopefully the races will go into the castle section, The Renault season continues to get worse and worse. James and Bando Biz both pitting after lap 1.
Yeah.
Both down the back of the grid again.
P16 and P18 for the Renault drivers. It's just not good. It's a Renault curse, isn't it, at this point? I don't know if it's the name change to Alpine, but yeah, the Renault team here not having a good time of it in Season 7 in the Formula PlayStation League. The Mercedes driver, Red Sniper Eye, as I mentioned earlier, the only driver to score points for them this season, and he's down in P13 himself, so maybe he's picked up the Renault curse as well. But it's a 1.7 second lead out front that Vapor Canute has over Carwin Rob, TDB in P3. Vapor King still fourth with now a second gap back to Vapor Shea. But still within a second is Jack Prentice. Meanwhile, here comes Vapor Cobalt looking to pass Elian down the home straight. Behind them as well, Benjamin's getting very close to Harrison. This is so close between these two. And Elian's going to force him to the outside here. Cobalt actually doesn't have the straight line speed. Down towards turn 1.
Maybe turn the ERS down or something halfway down the straight as Harrison gets past Benja in the background as well.
Yeah, well, Benjamin going side by side with him. Benjamin's trying to get past Harrison and can't quite do it. So Harrison is still in front of the Alfa Romeo driver as here comes Cobalt again looking to pass Elian. This time, has he got the overspeed? Has he got the line into turn 3?
Oh, Bando gets a
brilliant defending from Elian. Yeah, Bando Biz with a penalty. But Elian's still on the inside. Cobalt tries to go around the outside. There's a little bit of pushing and shoving. Harrison still ahead of Benjamin, now looking to pass these two. And there's still wheel to wheel. This is brilliant. Oh, there's a bit of contact. Elian nearly spins. Harrison makes contact with him. Benjamin now is brought into this battle as well. Harrison down the inside and Elian. Surely Elian can't defend this one. And he can't. And Harrison now up into 9th place with Elian forced down to 10th, and Benjamin looking to steal the final point away from the Racing Point driver here. Right behind them is Luke Prentice as well.
Oh, there's yellow flags, I think.
Vapor Shea's lost it somewhere. What's happened to Shea? He's lost his front wing, I believe. I think he's spun into the barrier. He's having to let everybody through.
He's got the pit.
Yeah, and he's rejoined right in front of Benjamin into turn 15. That's where Vapor Matt got held up on his qualifying lap.
All side by side.
Oh, well, yeah, that's not good at all with Benjamin there as Luke Prentice gets in front. So a few drivers being held up, and Vapor Shea's got a pit. He's lost pretty much a half of his front wing as he nearly hits the barrier. And again, doing well to keep it out at the moment, but here comes Harrison on Cobalt now. Down towards turn 1 they come. Surely Cobalt's going to have nothing to answer to this. And Harrison gets in front, pulls in front of him as they go in towards turn 1. And Harrison now up to 7th place in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Really good drive in the opening stages from the Red Bull driver as Vapor King continues to close up here on TDB as this battle for 3rd place rages on. 3 seconds now the gap out front between a little bit wide goes TDB, but he manages to recover. 3 seconds between Canute and Carwin Rob. It's looking like a bit of a Canada drive all over again, Matt.
Yeah, just to make another point about Renault while we get a slight break from the excitement. Renault Biz sped into the pit lane and has retired out of the race, so Renault season just continues to, just not be very good so far. I think
I don't understand that. And this is a point that Vapor Trench made during the Division 2 race last Wednesday, is that a driver came into the pits and retired so early on. But this is league racing round a street track. There's so much of the race left. Why would you retire?
I honestly have no idea, to be honest. I certainly wouldn't. I mean, with 20 odd laps to go around the street circuit, I certainly wouldn't.
Yeah. There's certainly no betting against the safety car, and well, maybe not necessarily cash all your chips into one strategy, but in a race like this, especially in a league race, you just never know what's going to happen. So that's no points for Bando Biz. TRT James himself is P14, so again, it's not looking like a good day for Renault. It's looking like a better day than it was looking after qualifying for Vapor Trench, because he's now closing on Jack Prentice for 5th place in the Grand Prix. McLaren, who are going to be supplied by Mercedes this year. Benjamin's out of the session, so Benjamin retires in the Alfa Romeo as Vapor Trench gets ahead of Jack Prentice just in time before the virtual safety car is deployed.
It looks like he's lost it through just after the quick left-right-hander through sector 3, so I don't know what's happened there. If he was side by side with someone, there's been a collision or something. But
I wonder if he lost his front wing potentially through turn 15, then lost it there. But either way, that is him out of the race as Red Sniper Eye comes into the pits for Mercedes.
Looks like
from P12.
Looks like Canute's going to have a proper Hamilton drive today with the gap he's building up so far.
Yeah, if anything, he'll be a little bit annoyed at this virtual safety car, because how much does this sort of thing interrupt your rhythm and your momentum?
Oh, because you just spend so much time just looking in the top right corner of the screen, just making sure you're not speeding, like accelerating and braking. It really can throw you off, and you can sometimes almost forget the braking points for the corners. It's very frustrating as a driver.
Yeah, well, the first virtual safety car, thankfully for him. Oh,
TDB
2 penalties.
And Vapor King.
King and TDB both speeding on a virtual safety car. That's a shocker for them. Well, the first virtual safety car didn't seem to catch Canute out all that much, but he's now only 2.5 seconds in front of Carwin Robb. So clearly something's happened there. Because he has just lost 2.5 seconds. As here comes TDB, then on Vapor King. This is very close between these two. Have they not spun it? TDB, no, can't quite go down the inside into turn 15, but Vapor King will go a little bit wide.
Has Luke Prentice crashed in sector 2? It looks like somebody's lost out the castle section.
If it is Luke Prentice, that's a real shame for him, because he's currently in 10th place, on for points. Here comes TDB, doesn't want to go side by side through there, but he will want to go side by side here as he tries to pull out of the slipstream. It's very narrow. Where's King going to go? Where's TDB going to go?
Serve their drive-throughs as well.
Yeah, they have. They're not going to do it just yet, I don't think. No, TDB is. He is going to pit. So he decides to serve his drive-through right now then. Another virtual safety car.
Someone crashed somewhere?
For Vapor King's got a Vapor King with a penalty. Vapor Trench is P2
a
because
couple of drivers actually pitting. TDB and Carwin Robb both pitting. I'll be interested. What are they going on to? What tyres have they gone on? Are they on the mediums? Because if they are, they're going to have to pit again.
I think I'm going blind because
They're
I
on
can't.
softs.
They are. Oh, why have they gone on to that then?
That's interesting.
That is surprising.
Because even soft to medium now, that's going to be a bit of a stretch.
Yeah. I was going to say I think I'm going blind because I can't see Vapor Canute. I'm trying to figure out where he is. King P1, Trench P2. I think he must have pitted. He's in P9. Yeah, he's in P9. So I think he has pitted in the Williams. Is he on fresh tyres? Yeah, he is. He's on hard tyres. So that's
he's going to the end on those.
Yeah,
he's going to try and stretch it. Well, I think with his pace advantage, he probably can as well.
Yeah, I mean, what he's not accounting for here, though, is a safety car.
Of course, I mean, if a safety car comes out now, that's going to royally mess him up. You've got Trench and up near the front, who did have quite good pace, it seems, from the start of the race. So
yeah, well, Trench has been making his way up pretty well. Just made that move on Jack Prentice before the last virtual safety car. There's been this one as well, so 3 virtual safety cars already in this Grand Prix. No full safety cars yet, but Vapor King and Vapor Trench will both be hoping for. In fact, maybe Vapor King won't.
Carwin Robb has managed to gain track position here on Canute somehow during
he
that
has, yeah. Carwin Robb's ahead. I didn't even notice, but yeah, he is. You're right. Good spot. So Carwin Robb then has the net lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in the pit stops, which is unbelievable. Vapor Canute was doing such a good job out front, but in the pit stops, Carwin Robb has gained the position. So Canute now has some work to do as he bounces over that curve at turn 15.
I don't know quite how he's done that, because Canute was 4.5 seconds clear at the start of the VSC.
He was a long way back, was Carwin Robb, as Luke Prentice and TRT James have been going side by side.
Looks like something happens in sector 2 there, but maybe not. Let's go up with a Lion, actually, just behind his teammate here, TDB, who has served his drive-through.
Yeah, TDB's trying to go defensive, and he's in the pits again. Yeah, because he
served a drive-through.
Served his drive-through now. Another virtual safety car has been deployed.
What is going on?
Not too sure, but there seems to be a virtual safety car every lap here as Vapor King, comes into the pits. Yeah, he rejoins in P3. So there we go. That's the difference. So another virtual safety car gets deployed. Vapor King comes into the pits. He's now in front of Carwin Robb and Vapor Canute. So those earlier pit stops for Carwin Robb and Vapor Canute have cost them the lead.
I don't think he has, actually, because according to the game, he's still on 6-lap old soft, so I don't think he's actually pulled into the pit lane.
Oh, he must have served his drive-through then, didn't he? So that's completely my fault. That's just me.
Yeah, because he stayed out when TDB went in.
Yeah, that's just me being stupid as always. So, yeah, Vapor King in P3, but having not changed his tyres. So ignore me if I scared any Canute fans out there, or Carwin Robb fans. But, yeah.
Trench has somehow now gained the lead. I think whoever was ahead of him is pitted. Under that.
Yeah, it was King. It was King who pitted to serve his drive-through. So that's what's put Trench into the lead now of the Grand Prix. But point stands, if there is a full safety car, that plays right into the hands of Vapor Trench and Cobalt, and probably Vapor Canute, Vapor King as well.
Yeah, you have to think though of Vapor Canute's pace over everyone else. He's probably not too concerned about it. I probably wouldn't be if I was that much quicker in qualifying than some of the other drivers. And you see here, look how quick he's closed this gap up to Carwin Robb. This was 2.5 seconds after the last VSC ended, so...
Yeah, so Canute here not wasting any time in getting back at Carwin Rob, and surely here if he can nail turn 16, which he has, he'll have the run through this final sector and down towards the braking zone of turn number 1 with the aid of DRS, of course, as he follows the Red Bull through the final couple of corners. Another virtual safety car. So
what is going on in this lobby?
I think there's some sort of glitch here because there's a VSC at the same point at every single lap.
Yeah, because no one's crashed.
No one's crashed. But this has allowed Trench and King to pit. They will lose position to Cohen Rob and Vapor Canute. But this all means that at the minute, no one's getting any overtakes down into turn 1 because there's always a virtual safety car that's preventing them from doing so. Which is very strange indeed. I'd love to know what's happening with this lobby here. But yeah, another VSC, which I believe makes it 5 now for the Grand Prix. But
yeah, there's been one every lap for the last 5 laps. I don't know what's going on here. There must be a glitch.
I think we've had 2 legitimate VSCs and 3 illegitimate ones, which have just been the game playing up on us, as TDB has come into the pits for Racing Point, and he's P15 on the hard tyres, but he just pitted the lap before as well, didn't he? So maybe he was the cause for the VSC, potentially. Maybe he broke his front wing, as the virtual safety car once again goes in and Vapor Canute can resume his pursuit of Carwin Rob. Not quite close enough just yet into turn 7, but he's certainly getting a lot closer to the Red Bull driver. Into Castle they go.
Yeah, with the race on the line with these two, I certainly wasn't expecting anything into the Castle section now. That would have been very wild.
No, and also with the gap in the championship that Canute now has, he certainly wants to play the long game as well as trying to win this race. But at the same time, at the minute, he is 2 positions in front of Vapor Trench. He would like to extend that gap by as much as he possibly can. Of course, we do still have 7 rounds left to go of the Season 7 of Formula PlayStation League after this one. Right, is Vapor Canute going to get the move done, or is there going to be a VSC that's going to stop him from doing that on this lap as well? As round these final 2 turns they come, and I think, yeah, he's not going to be denied by a VSC here as he opens up the DRS and down towards turn 1. Vapor Trench is ahead of Jack Prentice. Bazooka Joe in there as well. Here comes Vapor Canute down the inside on Carwin Rob. Has he overshot? Oh, does so well to catch the back end, but I think just about manages to take the lead. Does he? Yes, he does. Carwin Rob thought about it, but just couldn't fight it off, and has to stay behind Vapor Canute, who now makes his way up into 3rd place with Cobalt and Elian, the only drivers now in front of him on old tyres.
Quickly check what's going on with Bazooka Joe, because he's dropping down the order massively. He hasn't got any damage.
Joe's on 8-lap old hards, and he's just losing all these positions now, isn't he, to drivers with fresh tyres. And this exact same thing happened in Canada as well, actually, where a lot of drivers pitted under the safety car, but he didn't, and so he just lost all sorts of positions, tumbled pretty much from first down to last. And this is kind of what's happening to him now. So he's been passed by Vapor Trench, Harrison and Jack Prentice in this last lap. So it's not been a good lap for him, but he is still trying to stretch those tyres as far as he can for a late push towards the end to score points. Of course, he did start this race down in last, so he really didn't have anything to lose. Currently running in P8 now for the Haas team, and we'll see if he can score some points between now and the end.
Oh, I think Vapor Canute might be lining up a move here on a line as they come out of turn 16.
So close to Elian in the Racing Point car. Good exit as well at the turn 16. He's almost going to be too close to him through these final couple of corners, almost pushing the Racing Point through turns 19 and turn 20. Here comes Vapor Canute on Elian in the slipstream, opens up the DRS, and they run now down towards turn 1. Vapor Canute takes 2nd place here in Azerbaijan.
Easy does it. That's probably one of the better places to overtake on this track. You don't really lose any time doing it either.
Takes the lead as well because Cobalt's come into the pits for Haas. So Vapor Cobalt is going to rejoin, I would probably suggest, outside the points, is he? I think he will.
Yeah, I think it would maybe be 10.
Ooh, yeah, maybe he'll be ahead of Luke Prentice. He will be ahead of Luke Prentice. So
it's going to be quite close. Is it? No, I think he's got just ahead actually.
Yeah, no, I think he will be ahead.
You see here the field starting to spit out a little bit actually, which is a bit surprising given how close a lot of the drivers were in qualifying. So
yeah, this is well, this has been quite an entertaining race overtaking wise, but you're right, some of these gaps are getting a little bit bigger. There's not many drivers within DRS range at the moment. Vapor Shea is within a second of his teammate Vapor Matt, so I just wonder if the Ferraris might do a little bit of synchronised swimming before too long and swap their cars over. Depends who's quicker, depends how much ground Vapor Shea is gaining on his teammate, but those two languishing down in 13th and 14th, which is a pretty familiar story for Ferrari these days, unfortunately, as Carwin Robb chases Elian then down towards turn 15. Carwin Robb, of course, on his fresh hard tyres, Elian on the hard tyres that he started this race on, so it shouldn't be too difficult. It should be pretty much candy from a baby here for Carwin Robb, as it was for Vapor Canute, to get past the racing point. But the longer Elian stays out, Matt, the better this is for him. A, in terms of a safety car, and B, in terms of fresh tyres towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, the game back in, you take the hards about, I think it's about 15 laps. That's what the game recommends, but you can probably get them to about 20 laps, I reckon, quite comfortably. So.
Oh, and Rob side by side already with Elian as they went through turn 19 as he glides past the racing point in towards turn 1, and that's second place for him. So it's 1 and 2 as you were, with Vapor Canute in front of Carwin Robb, I should say, before the pit stops. And those two now looking to extend their advantage up front. As you say, the game believes that those tyres can take them to the very end of the Grand Prix, so it's a straight fight, although given qualifying and the very beginning of this Grand Prix, you can certainly see Vapor Canute extending that advantage as Vapor Trench gets a bit closer now to Elian. Trench on the mediums, 2-lap old medium tyres, which should make it, I think.
May be very, very warm by the end of the race. I think he's probably going to have to stop again. I think anyone on the mediums now is going to have to stop again before the end of the race. And obviously anyone who started on the hards as well. In fact, I think Elian didn't actually start on those tyres. I think he pitted after lap 1. So I think it's mostly a combination of everyone else pitting and him staying out at this point.
He may have done. I'm not too sure. I know a couple of drivers came into the pits, didn't they, after lap number 1. Vapor Matt and Vapor Shea both losing it early on. And Vapor Shea is actually very close now to his teammate Matt, so we'll keep an eye on that one for you in that battle for P13.
Oh, look at Harrison now as well. He's right on Vapor Trench's tail here.
So Trench wants to get ahead of Elian as quick as he possibly can. Look at the run there for Harrison, almost smashing into the back of Vapor Trench in his haste to get through turn 15 quickly. So this could be a good battle between these three. Yellow flags.
I think TRT James has crashed.
James off the track. Both Renaults once again hitting drama in a Grand Prix. They just can't keep together. Meanwhile, here comes Harrison. We were looking at Trench passing Elian. We're now looking surely at Harrison passing Trench. That's a bit of a DRS train. Who's going to get who? It is now going to be Trench passing Elian. And he's down the inside of the turn 1. No, he's not. Here comes Harrison looking to take advantage of that little bit of hesitation from the former and 2-time world champion. But it's as you were as they go through turn 2 as Bazooka Joe loses another position, this time to Red Sniperite.
Yeah, poor TRT James, exactly where Grosjean lost it under the safety car a couple years ago as well. So
yeah, and down to P15 for him. Renault have no luck whatsoever. Their season has been capitulating since the very start, and it is a nightmare for them. Bando Biz was tipped to be doing great things in Division 1, but so far has failed to set the world alight with 2 non-finishes for the first 2 races. And Vapor Shea, oh dear. So Vapor Shea was very close to his teammate Vapor Matt, and Matt's losing positions as well.
Yeah,
here comes Vapor Trench. Oh, he's had to cut the corner. Surely he's got to give that back, hasn't he?
Sure, I mean, he completely cut that corner. Yeah. I think Elian will be very angry about that one right now. I certainly would be.
Yeah, he was taking evasive action to just not hit him, but he has to give that one back, surely. As
now look at Harrison as well on Elian at just behind as well.
This is brilliant between these drivers at the moment. Here comes Harrison then down towards turn 16. Elian is going to be a bit of a sitting duck here, surely, because he's has he fallen out? Yes, he has. He's fallen out of DRS range.
Vapor Matt's crashed again in sector 2.
Yeah, I think it must have been a collision between the 2 Ferrari drivers whose season then clearly has taken a bit of a turn for the worse themselves, as here comes Harrison.
Oh, and in the castle section, he's out the race.
Vapor Matt's out of the Grand Prix. Both Ferraris out. Both Renaults hitting trouble as well. As Elian here trying to defend from Harrison, but is it going to be to any avail? No, it's not, because Harrison's down the inside. They're very close. Oh, he nearly hits the wall. It's brilliant driving, but Harrison stays in front. Elian couldn't do anything about it, and it's Harrison now up into 4th place. just outside the podium positions.
I'm surprised with where Vapor Matt's actually retired it. It hasn't pulled out a safety car, because that's right in the castle section. In real life, that would be a safety car 100% of the time.
Yeah, the game's a bit weird sometimes with where cars crash, because sometimes it'll bring out the safety car for no reason, but when someone crashes on track, it often won't. But here comes Red Sniper Eye then, looking to pass Vapor King. Red Sniper Eye here in the Mercedes car, looking for his third points finish in as many races in the Formula PlayStation League. Wasn't such a good qualifying outside the top 10, but he'll care little about that if he can manage to get himself a solid points finish here with his teammate Vapor Trench.
Probably looking
up in the podium places.
Make an impression as well, of course. Teammate with Vapor Trench, who is one of the better drivers in the league. Of course, finished second in the standings last year, so certainly a good benchmark to put yourself up against.
Yeah, and well, Lord Lamb found out to his expense last season that going up against a driver like Vapor Trench is no easy feat. Harrison now looking to get ahead of the Mercedes driver. Harrison's been doing some pretty good work this week. He's been part of a bit of a charity campaign for the Childhood Eye Cancer Trust campaign. And he's actually suffered from eye cancer as a child. So this is something that means quite a lot to him, and it means quite a lot to us here in the Formula PlayStation League, as Vapor Canute sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So it's been some good work from Harrison.
Canute is bigger than it was before the VSCs as well. He's nearly 6 seconds clear of Carwin Rob behind. Yeah. So
stretching out that gap is Vapor Canute, and if he can keep it all together, which I don't see any reason why he can't, then that'll be another victory for him.
Trench is closing up the gap quite a lot to Carwin Rob in front. I didn't realise quite how much he'd narrowed it down to. It's only 1.2 seconds now, just outside of DRS range.
Yeah, it's become quite a Red Bull sandwich this for Vapor Trench, so he's being closed in on by one Red Bull, but he's, as you say, rather quickly catching on the other Red Bull in front of him, as Bazooka Joe does now come into the pits for Haas, so we'll see how quickly he can recover back up the order on what is now, of course, a fresh set of rubber on his car on the medium tyres, which now have to go 13 laps to the end, which should be pretty doable for him. So Trench is now within DRS range of Carwin Rob in front. Carwin Rob has now fallen just over 6 seconds behind Vapor Canute out front.
I think Carwin Rob right now probably isn't going to be too worried about battling these two, because by the end of the race, their tyres are going to be absolutely shredded, whereas his tyres might be in a bit better condition, but of course they're going to have about 19 laps on them, so they're certainly not going to be the best for wear either.
Well, you never know what's going to happen in terms of collisions either, as Harrison fights the back end through turn 15. Of course, what we'd hate to see is these three ruining each other's races with a collision, but this looks as though it's going to be a pretty intense battle for second place in Azerbaijan, so high stakes here as Harrison chases Trench. The gap probably a bit too big between all three of these drivers to really think about a meaningful attempt at an overtake, but we'll see as they head down towards turn 1. Nobody really close enough at the moment to go for the move, as TDB gets into 10th place, getting ahead of Luke Prentice. So Luke's wait for a points finish looks as though it might be about to continue, although he does now get back ahead of the Racing Point driver. So we'll see what happens between those two. Meanwhile, Vapor Trench continuing to close on Carwin Rob, but not quite by enough into turn 3. Harrison still looking an interested party behind them in terms of this battle.
And Red Sniper is in the pits. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1. Who's gone out? It looks like...
is it Red Sniper, I wonder, having just come into the pits? I'm not too sure.
Is it Luke? Luke Prentice has been disqualified for
blocking the pit lane. What's happened there to him?
I have no idea.
So he's blocked the pit lane, I think probably having spun the car. So that's another non-finish for Luke Prentice. 5 non-finishes from 5 for him in what has been an absolutely torrid start to the season.
Has he, he must have spun it coming out the pits, or he was racing someone, wasn't he? It's turn 1, so he might have had a collision and then lost his front wing and got stuck or something, who knows?
He's had quite the time of it in the last couple of races, was taken out deliberately by Kex Vendel in Canada, resulting in Kex Vendel's removal from the league, and now disqualified for blocking the pit lane in Azerbaijan. So not a good start to the season at all, and of course none of the drivers who are struggling are really running out of time to revive their seasons. The likes of TRT James and Benjamin retiring from this Grand Prix as well for Alfa Romeo. Luke Prentice Another one who just can't seem to get it together this season. And no points for him once again.
I think Vapor Trench might look to make a move here. I think he is just outside of DRS range on Harrison as they went into turn 2. So
and Trench with 1 win this season in the Netherlands. He scored points 3 times this season, looking to get on the podium for the 2nd time and score points for the 4th time. But if he is to take 2nd place and seal the deal for the podium, he's going to have to wait a little bit longer to try and get past Cohen Roberts. Elian comes into the pits now for Racing Point and goes onto the soft tyres, so he's going for a late surge and a points finish, and also potentially a late surge for fastest lap. There is a point for that regardless of where you finish, even if you don't finish the race, and there is of course a point for pole position, which Vapor Canute has once again taken. He took all 27 points last time out in Canada, and at the moment set to do so here as well. He has pole, he has the win at the moment in the bag, and he currently has the fastest lap of the race as well. But we'll see what Elian can do about that on his fresh set of rubber. Lap 16 of 26.
Yellow flag in second 2. Someone's crashed in the castle section. I can't quite see who that is though. It looks like it might be one of the Alpha Tauris. It might be Vapor King. I don't know who's lost it there. Someone was going very slowly though. They've just come ahead of the... Yeah, it might have been Vapor King actually. I think he's just also loaded times Jack Prentice. So
Vapor King, who was running in contention for the podium places earlier on, now down in P6 as here comes Vapor Trench and here comes Harrison as well. And this is what we were waiting for. This battle for 2nd place. Vapor Trench closing on Carwin Rob. No, neither the Mercedes nor the Red Bull driver able to make a move as Harrison really fights the Larry back end out of turn 1. Vapor Trench through turn 2. Can he get a good exit and get the run on Carwin Rob? Harrison's got a pretty good run through turn 2. Once again, it's a bit of a DRS train. Once again, Vapor Trench gets closer. Once again, he's going to look for the move. No.
Carwin Rob just seems to get a bit extra down that straight. I don't know if he's saving his ERS the entire lap and deploying it there, but he's Vapor King comes into the pit, so I think it may have been Vapor King that spun and got front wing damage in the castle section.
Yeah, so that's going to cost him points as well here. Vapor King might put him outside the points paying positions for the rest of this Grand Prix. There's 20 seconds back to Elian, but I think that's going to be too much. I think he's going to lose out to him as well. Yes, he will. So that's a nightmare for Vapor King. Just well, he was certainly one of the front runners in season 5. Was King had a really positive season for Alfa Romeo. 3 wins, 5 points finishes from the 9 races that he competed in that season. Season 6 didn't go quite so well, and season 7, unfortunately for him, hasn't really come together either just yet.
One thing that maybe the front runners might be a little bit worried about is Elian just pitted after 15 laps on the hard. Now I doubt that was due to damage because he wasn't really racing anyone. Could it be that his tyres were quite worn by that point? You think the drivers in front thinking we've got another 9 laps to do now? Possibly. I mean, they've got a lot... Well, Carmen Bob certainly hasn't got a lot of time, but Vapor Canute has got a bit of time to play with, but could that be a bit worrying to the guys at the front, that he's only gone 15 laps?
It depends, really. I mean, how much of a difference does it make going wheel to wheel with people and racing hard as opposed to being out front like Vapor Canute? And, well, Cohen Rob actually is defending pretty hard right now, but Vapor Canute's had it pretty easy, so... I mean, how easy is it to just look after your tyres when you're out front so comfortably compared to when you're in the pack?
Well, out front it's obviously much easier, as we've seen a lot in real life by Lewis Hamilton, you know. He's known very well for saving his tyres as much as he complains about them. But Carmen Bob is going to be pushing like as hard as he can right now. He can't afford to slow down because he's just going to end up behind these 2 guys. So his tyres, I think, are going to take quite a battering towards the end of the race as Red Sniper overtakes Bazooka Joe, who is on the fresh mediums now.
It's a move for 8th place now for Red Sniper Eye. So those 2 on, pretty much the same age, medium tyres. TDB up next for Red Sniper Eye, who's on slightly fresher and softer tyres as well than TDB, with Kova up next after that, but he's a further, just under, about 6 seconds ahead, shall we say. As Trench then continues to follow Carwin Rob here on lap 18. It's a real train between these 3. It's a bit of a deadlock right now. So it might, Matt, come down to tyres in terms of the battle for 2nd.
It might do, because Carwin Rob's on similar age lap tyres, but his are obviously a step harder, so those mediums are going to start to go off now. About this sort of time, 10-12 laps, they'll start to lose a bit of grip. So you might see Karen Robb actually start to pull away if he can defend his position.
And of course, being in the dirty air as well is not helping Vapor Trench's cause one bit. Here he comes again. Surely he's got in this time. He's so close to Karen Robb. If he's going to get the move done, he has to get it done now to save his medium tyres. Down towards turn 1 they go. Down the inside goes Vapor Trench, and this time he takes second place.
Switchback road. No,
Karen Robb doesn't quite have enough on the exit, and Vapor Trench does have P2. Now he needs to try and create a gap and needs to try and make those medium tyres go to the end. TRT James is out. It's another double non-finish for Renault. No points yet again for both Bando Biz and TRT James. Nothing coming together at all for Renault, but it has all come together in the battle for second for Vapor Trench. And while he will lose points to Vapor Canute in the championship race, it's nowhere near as many as it was going to be at the end of qualifying. However, it's still a question as to whether he can make those medium tyres last the remainder of the race.
I was going to say, I certainly won't count Karen Robb even out of this race yet, as Vapor King sets the fastest lap of the race, so that one we want to watch out for.
Trench so close to the wall through the castle section. So yeah, that takes a point away from Vapor Canute. I think he'll be livid about that. He might just... as the two Red Bulls, I thought they were going to do a switch there, but Karen Robb stayed in front of Harrison. Those two came together in Singapore, remember. That didn't go well at all. Wide goes Karen Robb, and Harrison now might have the opportunity in towards turn 16, but he'll hang behind him for the time being because that'll allow him to get DRS down towards turn 1.
And Karen Robb's now going to be out of DRS range by the time we get to the detection point.
Yeah, and surely here Karen Robb's just better off letting Harrison go, because these two are nearly coming together down towards turn 1, and Harrison pulls out of the slipstream and gets side by side with Karen Robb and flies past his teammate, and he's in the pits. Whoa, so on 11 lap old medium tyres, Harrison's decided that he can't make them go to the end, despite the fact that he had just taken third place off his teammate.
I'd be very interested to know right now what Vapor Trench's tyre wear is at. Of course, in that dirty air for all that time.
Yeah, you just wonder if he might respond to that, because if Vapor Trench ends up having to pit between now and the end, he will rejoin behind Harrison.
Yeah, because Harrison's on fresh soft, so he's going to be he might be going for fastest lap as well, Harrison. So
Vapor Trench has to commit to something here. He's either going to go to the end, or he's not.
I mean, after this lap, there's only 5 laps left. Surely you've got to stay out at that point, because you're just not going to have time to make up the positions. Yeah. I'm quite interested as to why Harrison pitted, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think even the 1 lap undercut with how old those tyres are, I think that'll do for Harrison if Vapor Trench does pit.
But then again, he's only got 1 driver between him now and where he was anyway, so is it really no... Oh, Vapor Trench very nearly in the wall there through the castle. Yeah. Those tyres are really starting to go off now, I think, to be honest.
You're right, though. With so little time left in the Grand Prix, I'm very surprised, having just taken third as well. Harrison gets a penalty! Oh, dear. So this has gone from bad to worse then for Harrison. Decided to pit when he'd just taken third. And now has picked up a 3-second time penalty as well. So he is the first driver to get and
Lord and Lamb
Lord and Lamb gets a penalty as well for corner cutting. So of course we had 2 penalties earlier for speeding under virtual safety car. These 2 are the first exceeding track limits time penalties that we've had. It's quite difficult to get them here, of course, because if you exceed track limits, most of the time you're in the wall in Azerbaijan.
And it seems that turn 15 doesn't have any track limits either from some of the lines drivers have been taking.
You don't have to hit the Trench is in. Trench pits. So he has decided as well that he can't take his tyres to the end, which promotes Karen Robb back up into second place, and Harrison's going to be way ahead then, isn't he, of Vapor Trench here?
Surely, let's see he's out the pit box. Vapor Trench, where is he?
Left his pit box, so Harrison will go ahead
just go across
around
the
about
line.
now.
He's just coming into turn 1 now. It's going to be close.
Harrison's in front. As what about Cobalt as well? No, Trench is ahead of him, so yeah, he's behind Harrison. This is interesting now, though. Yeah, so these two both probably going for fastest lap, and both now going for 4th place. And all what this has done is promoted Jack Prentice up to 3rd place here for his potentially first podium of the season, having got 2 podiums in Season 6. As here comes Vapor King down the inside on Elian into turn 1. Elian will try and fight it. They'll be side by side now down towards turn 2. King still trying to go down the inside on the medium tyres. Elian is still there on the outside. Who's got DRS? I think it is... Yeah, neither of them. He didn't have DRS, so that's Well, it might be a glitch on the game's part, but here comes Elian again. Pulls back out of the slipstream, goes down the inside into turn 3. King with a really good run round the outside. Elian has to collect the back end, and Vapor King uses that as a chance to get up into P10 and past Elian.
I mean, Canute must have been rubbing his hands together when he saw Carl and Rob and Trench and that lot all battling. Because look at the gap he's got in the front now, 12 seconds.
Crazy now. Up there, the good thing, the blissful thing now for Carl and Rob is that he can just look after his tyres and nurse them to the end, because he's got a big 11-second gap back to Jack Prentice.
Do you think Vapor Trench will try and overtake Harrison? Obviously, he'll know he has a penalty now. The game has updated to show you when a driver in front has a penalty. So, do you think he'll try and overtake him?
I think he might, because he wants to go for fastest lap as well, surely. And it's difficult to do that if you're in the dirty air. One thing I'm wondering as well, is it about to rain between now and the end? Because it's getting a little bit more overcast. I just wonder if we might end up getting some rain. There are a few more clouds than they were. Vapor Trench is really closing up massively here on Harrison. He might not need to go for a bonsai move, because he's closing up so much on him anyway as they head down towards turn 3.
I think with even this few laps remaining, but I think not going to bother putting slicks inters on at this point, surely, because it'd just be pointless. You'd lose so many positions.
Well, they say be on the right tire at the right time, but of course that's difficult to do when... I
didn't realise quite how much Harrison had closed up to Jack Prentice over the last couple laps. I just noticed that on the timing screen.
Jack Prentice set not to take his 3rd podium in 2 seasons in the Formula PlayStation League, because he's got Harrison and Trench both closing up on him. Oh, he's not going to do this, is he?
No, I was going to say, Trench has backed out.
He's not going to try that into the castle section. Certainly not when your title hopes are already dwindling just a little bit, and you're trying to score as many points as you possibly can.
What do you think Jack Prence's reaction was when he looked on the mini-map or looked in his mirrors and suddenly saw this Red Bull Mercedes behind him?
Well, he probably had been quite happy when he got up into the podium places, but now he's going to be quite nervous as he's got these
Trench
two behind him. Oh, Trench, that's a brilliant move on Harrison. Wonderful stuff from Vapor Trench. Gets past the Red Bull of Harrison, round the outside of turn 16. It's an immaculate pass from Vapor Trench. Harrison embarrassed round the outside, and now Trench is going to get past Jack Prentice as well, but Harrison right behind these two. And who's going to be ahead down towards turn 1 as Trench... has he got ahead of Jack Prentice yet? No, he hasn't, but he goes round the outside and does take 3rd place. Jack Prentice in the wall! Jack Prentice spins off in the McLaren. He's hit the barrier. The yellow flags are out in Sector 1 momentarily, but Jack Prentice, who was on for a podium for the time being, has now conceded 2 positions and put himself in the barrier for good measure. Trench and Harrison, though, both with penalties now.
Do you think there might have been contact between Harrison and Trench, because he span off before the traction zone? I think there might have been a bit of contact.
There must have been. Well, Trench went round the outside, so I think he must have turned in a little bit.
Trench actually cleared him on the timing screen before we even got to the turn. I think Harrison was on his inside. That could have been a... Jack didn't know he was there. He was too focused on Vapor Trench on the outside, maybe.
Yeah, perhaps. But that's Jack Prentice now down to 5th place.
Has he got any damage? He's managed to go away without damage as Elian retires in the pit lane.
So yeah, that's it for him in terms of scoring any points in this evening's Grand Prix.
He does get damage now in the castle section.
No, Jack, what have you done? He's not got a massive gap. He's got 5.5 seconds back to Cobalt, and depending on how bad this front wing damage is, I just wonder if he'll be able to sustain that with the damage that he's got, particularly at a track where front wing damage will get punished, as he nearly scrapes the wall through 15. The gap has come down a little bit between Canute and Cohen Rob, 15 seconds. It was a little bit more. It was up at 16, wasn't it, at some point?
I believe so. Most of the time Cobalt's about to gain, though, is going to be through this section. I don't know. Actually, it looks like he's still flat. I think it's only end plate damage. I think he's just got away with that one somehow.
Well, of course, we've only got a couple of laps left after this one, so we should be okay to carry on. Harrison has now fallen a 2.5 behind Vapor Trench. So, what a move that was by Trench around the outside of turn 16. Wonderful stuff from the former world champion, and he is now back up into the podium places. But, he'll be wondering now that he's back here, could he have made those tyres go to the end before he pitted?
I mean, he might be thinking so, but he wasn't really eating into Canute's time, but he's also not going to I mean, even if he does catch up to Carwin Rob now, it's not going to make a difference, because he's not going to clear him by 3 seconds before the end anyway, I don't think. He'd have to drive at an astronomical rate to do that, so...
Yeah, he's still still be chasing the fastest lap of the race, which is still, I believe, Vapor King's, I think. I don't think anyone's beaten that since Vapor King took the fastest lap a few laps ago. He's in P9, so on for 3 points in this Azerbaijan Grand Prix at the moment, having once been running in the podium places. So it's turned out to be not such a satisfactory evening for him.
And only 11 finishes as we stand as well, which I believe would be tied for the lowest this season.
Yeah, Lord of Lamb's come into the pits as well for Williams. I hope that's not to retire the car, but... oh, yes, it is to retire the car. We've got 10 runners, so everybody who finishes the race now is going to score points. So, wow, that is amazing. So 8 non-finishers here in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Only 10 drivers now running, so all of these finishers will be scoring points.
I find it interesting as to why he retired, to be honest, because there's only 2 laps left anyway. Why not just go to the end?
Why not just put on a fresh set of tyres and go for fastest lap as well, you would think.
Yeah, that's...
Because you would still get a point for that, even if you finish outside of the points-paying positions. But, yeah, Alam deciding to retire from the race. So Luke Prentice, Bando Beers, Benjamin, Vapor Shea, Vapor Matt, TRT James, Elian, Lord Alam all out. Jack Prentice pits for McLaren, so he's decided that he can't make that car go to the end of the race.
Is he going on? Yeah, he's gone on to fresh softs, so maybe a push for fastest lap here from Jack Prentice.
Yeah, he'll be hoping so. This will put him maybe in front of Vapor King, but I think he's having his front wing changed though, isn't he? So I think King will be ahead. Yes, he will. So he'll be ahead of Bazooka Joe. He's got the gap back to him. But this will be P9 for Jack Prentice, and as you say, potentially fastest lap as well to put him on to 3 points. This now means that Vapor King is on for 5 points with the current 8th place, and he is 10.5 behind Red Sniper Eye.
I've just noticed on the timing screen that TDB is gradually catching up to Vapor Cobalt here, so we could see some last lap fireworks. He is now within a second.
Yeah, just within a second of him, you're right. That's a good spot. So TDB, who was yet to, when he's finished the race, he's yet to finish it outside the podium places, if that makes any sense. So he's so close to the wall. He very nearly didn't finish this one as well.
I thought you'd put a full-on commentator's curse on him there.
I thought I was about to, but what I was trying to say is that the only times he's finished in the points, he scored podiums. That was a better way of saying it. So this will be his first point finish outside the podium if he gets it, if he doesn't put it in the wall. And as you say, looking here to pass Koba, but he has now, with that little mistake into the castle section, fallen a second and a half behind him. So yeah, I don't think he will, as Vapor Canute has now begun the very last lap of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and it's been yet another dominant performance from the Williams driver.
Let's give Canute some screen time. He hasn't really had too much today. He's just kind of driven off into the distance. So
yeah, the Williams sponsors certainly haven't had much of a run out this evening, but what a drive from Vapor Canute, the two-time world champion. Looked at the start of the season as though maybe he couldn't make it 3 in a row, but this performance coupled with the last one in Canada goes to show, goodness me, goes to show why he's won the last 2 championships and why he is now the standout leader in season 7.
It does, in many ways, actually, you know, obviously in a virtual world, remind me of Lewis Hamilton in some ways. He kind of drives as quick as he needs to, and then when he needs to pull out that extra bit of pace, he just has it in there that a lot of drivers just don't have.
Yeah, I mean, these last 2 have been...
I think, is that Red Sniper Eye in Sector 1, I think, is causing a yellow flag.
I hope Red Sniper Eye's not lost it. I mean, he'll score points even if he finishes. But, yeah, Vapor Canute here, almost reminiscent of maybe a Sebastian Vettel 2013 drive, but he won't really want to be compared to that. He'll want this to be a Vapor Canute 2021 drive, and that it certainly has been. Vapor Canute, 4th pole, 2nd win. Vapor Canute wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Excellent performance from the German driver. It's a superb result for him for his 2nd victory of the season. As TDB here, so close now to Koba. Kobal's in the wall! TDB and Cobalt have made contact. TDB stopped the car to let Cobalt go again. Cobalt's hit the wall, and TDB's going to be ahead of him. He hasn't picked up a penalty on track. He will surely pick up a penalty after the Grand Prix. He's trying to slow down, I think, to let Cobalt go. Cobalt's lost his whole front wing. A desperate last gasp attempt to take P5 in this Grand Prix from TDB has resulted in Cobalt losing his front wing, but very sportingly indeed. TDB lets him go and will take P6 with Cobalt in 5th, minus his entire front wing. What a dramatic end. Red Sniper IP7. They almost lost P7 in the end. Jack Prentice P9 with the fastest lap, so he does take 3 points. Bazooka Joe eventually will come home for 10th, the last of the current runners, but he will score a point. Jack Prentice, after making that mistake, having been passed by Vapor Canute and Harrison, went into the wall, but he's come into the pits and he's taken the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. It means that Vapor Canute takes 26 and not 27 points away from the Grand Prix, but somehow, Matt, I don't think he'll really care about that.
No, I mean, I think he kind of made his statement today with just the gap he built up and how easily he did it, to be honest. But good race, but definitely incidents there for the stewards to look at, yeah. I have a feeling.
Well, there would have been one at the end, but TDB letting Cobalt go. Just quickly, Matt, driver of the day for you?
Oh, it's got to be Canute. I mean, you just can't argue. I mean, from start to finish, dominated the whole Grand Prix, really. Quality race, no one got near him.
Yeah, it was a really dominant display from the Williams driver, who I guess took a couple of races to find his feet in Season 7, but now that he's done it, he has been unstoppable the last 2 races. Vapor Canute then wins the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's Carwin Robb in P2. Vapor Trench takes the final podium spot for Mercedes Harrison in 4th place, with Cobalt in 5th after that dramatic late crash with TDB. Red Sniper IP7, Vapor King P8, Jack Prentice 9th with the fastest lap right at the end, Bazooka Joe P10, and then Lord Alam, Elian, TRT James, Vapor Matt, Vapor Shay, Benjamin, Bando Biz, and Luke Prentice all out of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. But what a race that was for Vapor Canute. What drama at the end. Only 10 finishers at the end of it. Vapor Canute extends his championship lead. And until next Tuesday night to see if Vapor Canute can do so again, or if we'll have that 5th different winner, it's good night.